Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Winthrop Community Health Forum. And thank you all for coming. You're a great crowd. We're so happy to have you here. We're actually happy to come back to the Cummings School. All right? Do you like it better here? Who likes it better here? Yes. Okay. So we're very, very honored to be here with all of you tonight. And I must say, we have a lot of honorees that we want to honor tonight. We would like to, first of all, give tribute to former Speaker of the House, Bob DeLeo. Bob, back there. Bob, thank you. Thank you for coming. We also have Senator Lydia Edwards. Lydia, where are you? Is she here? Did she leave? She was here, so, and Eric, is Eric here to represent her? We also have Representative Joseph McGonigal. Where are you, Joe? Welcome. We also have Representative Jeff Turco. Jeff, wonderful, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service and your dedication and commitment to the residents of Winthrop. Thank you. So, it's an honor for me to be here, and I will be your MC. I'm Sandra Hurley. I'm President and CEO of Commonwealth Clinical Services, and we are your local Visiting Nurse Association. Soon to move, we're actually at St. John the Evangelist Convent. We'll be moving to 365 Main Street, which is old Dr. Shah's office, and we'll be moving here soon. So if you need any home care services, you'll know where to find us. It's wonderful to see everybody. This is a great venue, and every year we always look forward to coming here together, to be together. We're a little bit late this year. You know, normally we have this in October, but we're a little late this year. However, we're still here. Okay, so we want to give tribute to Representative Speaker of the House, Bob DeLeo, because he started this 27 years ago. Bob, thank you, thank you. And when he retired, he passed the torch to us, Commonwealth Clinical Services, and to the Winthrop Chamber Chamber. Betsy, are you still here? Betsy, she was here. So the Chamber, which is very involved and helpful. And this year, we now are joined by the newly acquired, the newly operated Commonwealth Primary Care with Jean Holgerson, my daughter, who's in the back. Congratulations, Jean and Commonwealth Primary Care. We'd also like to thank the Winthrop Foundation for providing the grant to make this possible. And you like the food? Yes. The food is good. We also want to thank all of our volunteers. We have, I think, the entire Winthrop hockey team. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for coming. So, the mission of this forum is to provide a platform for a healthy, happy community. And it's through education and support. So all of your vendors, all of the members of the community providing resources for you, for all of us, that we can connect with when we need access for additional information and services for ourselves or our loved ones. We have over 17 health and wellness related informational tables, and some people had to share tables tonight. We thank you very much for sharing your tables. Thank you all for participating tonight. Together, it brings us together as a community. So we have Vinny Tranvaglia with Big City CPR. Are you here, Vinny? Hey, congratulations. Thank you for coming here. Dr. Brooks and his team. Is Dr. Brooks here? Yes? No? Okay. Well, we missed him. Cindy from Zumba Gold. Cindy, are you here? And I know that a lot of the senior citizens take advantage of the Zumba. Cloud 9, Donna, giving massages over there. Make sure you get your massage before you leave. Commonwealth Clinical Services, my team, which is in the back, and we have Emma, a potential nursing student, taking blood pressures there. and one of our team members as well. So we thank them both. And I'd like to, and my daughter, and I'd like to, the people in my team, I'd like to give some credit to right here is, first, Andrea Hurley. Andrea, where are you? Andrea is our go-to person. She's our administration person. My daughter, Jean Holgerson, nurse practitioner, who also has her Commonwealth primary practice and also works with us as clinical director. Jean, back there in the back. And Robin Bettino, our marketing director, who spearheads this forum every single year. And she starts working on this months in advance. Round of applause. So as you can see from the crowd here tonight, how instrumental we are in getting everyone involved. So thank you all for your tireless efforts in helping to put this together and bring us all together as a community. And lastly, I would like to, again, thank all of the leaders of the community in Winthrop who provide leadership for this community in bringing us together. Thank you. Round of applause. I think I left some people out. I did, and I don't know. Who did I leave out? East Boston neighborhood. I don't know how I forgot you guys, because you guys provide our flu and COVID shots every year, and we thank you so much. And Neri is back there. Neri Castro, where are you, Neri? Neri, we need to give Neri a round of applause for Neri, because that's his team. We have the PACE program here. Thank you all. Who else did I miss over here? We have, I think we had Lieutenant Mary Corsanti with the police department. Is she still here? No. The fire department's probably out fighting fires because they're not here, but they generally are. And Jean Maggio was here. Is Jean still here? Through the Medical Reserve Corps. There's Jean. Thank you all. Who did I miss since I lost my paper? Where are you guys from? No, we got them. Harbor. Harbor what? Harbor Cove. So we thank you for coming. So just go around to all the tables. Okay, great. So thank you. Round of applause for all of our vendors. Thank you. Well, we have two great keynote speakers tonight. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our first speaker, Mark D'Ambrosio. And for those of you that don't know him, he's better known as Coach, and I'm sure all of our hockey team and our young people know him. And many of the parents actually know him as well. Mark is a Winthrop native. He's one of our own, and he currently lives here as well. It's here that he met his wife, Chrissy, with whom he had 3 beautiful children. Jackson is 18, a freshman at Georgia Tech, studying aerospace engineering. Wow. And Michael is 15, a sophomore at Winthrop High School, and Elena is 12. She's a 6th grader at the Winthrop Middle School. Mark was a standout student athlete on the football field, both in high school and in his alma mater, Colby College. He took his love of sports and has devoted his last 20 years, to coaching dozens of teams and mentoring teenagers participating in Winthrop Youth and Flag Football, Winthrop Little League, and Winthrop Parks and Recreation Girls Basketball. Wow. He's currently the commissioner of the Winthrop Flag Football, where he oversees high school players volunteering with Winthrop Youth. A former board member of the Viking Pride Foundation, Mark is active in various charitable endeavors. He ran the Boston Marathon in 2015 and 2018, and he fundraised for local initiatives the Thomas D'Ambrosio Memorial Scholarship in CASA, raising $10,000 for both organizations. Round of applause. Mark is currently Vice President of Sales for Centerfield Media. He is responsible for the professional development and training for entry-level sales representatives in both the Boston area and internationally. Mark has dedicated much of his life to motivating, mentoring, and supporting people to be their best on and off the field, shaping future leaders. Please give a warm Winthrop welcome to Mark D'Ambrosio! Coach Mark D'Ambrosio. Oh, there's my...
Thank you. It's a tough act to follow. I feel like you should just stay up here with me, right? So, I just want to say thank you to all the different, groups that are here today. I think this is a great event. I want to say thank you to Jeannie and Robin and Andrea, for thinking about me. That means a lot. God works in mysterious ways sometimes. So I'm still cold. I just came from practice 20 minutes ago. There's a tough wind out there, so a little bit of a chill. But for those of you that don't know, I'm the offensive coordinator for the Winthrop High School right now. So if you see a lonely guy standing on the press box tomorrow night in the cold, that's me. And so I was honored when I was asked to speak at this event. And what was I going to talk about? Robin kept talking to me about the different messages that we could get across. And an enthusiastic parent had been texting me on game day with different ideas about what plays that we can run, which isn't unique. And I said to him, I go, just do me a favor. Don't text me on game day. On game day, I'm pretty anxious, and, I spend most of the time trying to get my emotion in check and calm myself down. And he says to me, he goes, oh, I figured you have it all together. You've got the perfect life. And I realized in that moment that to him I did, but he saw my current situation and he didn't understand my journey. So that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. So I am a Winthrop kid, born in 1979, 80s baby. And the story of how addiction impacted my life started pretty early. My father was an addict and he was out of the house, probably within a couple months of me being born. My mother remarried. I relocated to Southern California, where I lived there for 5 years and went to 3 different schools. I moved to New Hampshire in the 5th grade, and then I finally moved back to Winthrop in 6th grade, which is funny because that's the age my daughter is now at Winthrop Middle School, and that was kind of my entry point. In high school, I lived in a different apartment every year. Fremont, Amelia, Bates, Vine, all over town. My father used to take me, he got sober when I was 7 years old, and he used to take me to the Mystic Mall in Chelsea to AA and NA meetings. He'd give me and my brothers a bunch of quarters and tell us to go play video games. But, I grew up in those halls, and I learned a lot about humility and acceptance there. My father, I had a tremendous relationship with him for 25 years, and the impact on who I am today, is immeasurable. By my sophomore year in 1995 at Winthrop High School, I'm starting to catch my groove a little bit. In one week in March 1995 was your quintessential small town kid week to have in Winthrop. On Tuesday, I was on the bench. I didn't play, but I was on the bench when Winthrop beat Cohasset in triple overtime at the Boston Garden. We were down 10 points with 2 minutes to go. Carrie, I'm sure he's nodding, right? So it was a tremendous comeback. On Wednesday, I got the lead in the school musical, right? And if it seems like it's weird that an athlete would be doing drama, then you didn't know Neil Shapiro and the impact and the way that he brought the community together. So yeah, if you know Neil Shapiro, we can definitely clap for Neil Shapiro right now. Saturday morning, we go to the Worcester Centrum, and we beat the Sutton Sammies for the state championship in 1995. We get a police escort back into town. I go to the sophomore junior social at the Cottage Park Yacht Club, kind of like, all these young gentlemen out here are going to be doing. And we got in a limo, drove up to Kowloon's, and, I had slept over at Vinnie Crossman's house, who's back there. Hi, Vinnie, a wonderful friend, and, had a sleepover with the boys. That morning, the next day, my mother and my brother were at Vinnie's door, and they knocked on the door, and, it's Mark here. So on the walk down Amelia, across the marsh, and the walk back up to Bates, from Fairview, they tell me that my brother Tommy had passed away the night before, tragically. It was St. Patrick's Day, March 18th, so I don't really celebrate St. Patrick's Day too much. But, he had made some bad decisions with drug and alcohol, and decisions have consequence. Tommy was handsome, athletic, smart, kind. It was a tragedy to me then. It's more of a tragedy to me now. Because now that I have 3 kids that I love so much, I have so much appreciation for my parents and their ability to get up, get out of bed, put one foot in front of the other and be there for me. And then it's a tragedy because my brother never really got to know my amazing wife, Chrissy, who's back there, hey babe, and my 3 kids, and they didn't really get to know him. But either way, that's kind of like where my life began. And when my brother Tommy died, I told myself that I had owed it to him to live my life to the fullest. I had to do enough living for 2 people. I had to try and fill my parents' heart with joy. So I put my head down and I went to work. I remember the first workout that I went to with Coach Facillo after my brother passed, and it was different. I just felt different. I was wired different. I had, just a fire inside of me that's still there to this day. When I played football, I used to write TAD 56 on my wrist because I would tell myself, I'm going to play with the strength of 2 people today. And that's my brother's initials. And I did, because I believed that I did. And I think positive visualization goes a real long way. And emotion in any athletic goes a really long way. But I didn't do it alone. In March of 1995, there was a fork in the road in my life. Because of coaches like Coach Facillo, because of teachers like Neil Shapiro and Mr. Morrison and Mrs. Pareca and other teachers that were in the school at that time, they kept me on the right path when I needed it. I was able to pour everything into athletics in school. I can't say enough of how outside of my parents and my family, coaches and teachers were the difference in me going in one direction at that time. My other brother chose a different path. And I'll always say I'm a lot more like Chris than people realize, and he's a lot more like me than people realize. And it took him 25 years to eventually find his way back, but he did. And I think there's a story in there of always believing in someone and always believing in second chances. My father died in 2011 when I was 31 years old. 31 is way too young to lose your dad. He had 20 years of sobriety in AA and NA when he passed. To say that he was a sponsor to dozens of people would be an understatement. It was probably hundreds or over 100. At his wake, when I stood in the procession line, person after person came up to me, shook my hand, and told me that my father saved their life. And I believed them because they authentically looked at me in the eyes and they meant it. And you know when somebody means it. One of my best friends tells me that my father saved his life. The same work that I put into athletics, I also put into my career. My father was a painter. My mother was a nurse. at East Boston Neighborhood Health Center. So if you know Peggy Ackerman, you know she's pretty awesome. We can give it up for her, right? So, all right, thank you. I'm so proud of my blue-collar roots. In college, I painted for my dad on the side of a house on a 40-foot ladder. I'd get off, I'd run to the gym, go work out with Joey Murray and Matt Mahoney, two Winthrop kids that I played college football with, go back, shower again, and I would go work for Richie Demento at the Winthrop Yacht Club, or I was a waitering somewhere. And when you do that, and all of a sudden you go into work, and work is 40 hours a week, sitting in a chair, leather chair, and air conditioning, that's pretty easy. And I now work in the people business, and it's a little more white collar. And a funny thing happens when you have a tough upbringing, when you move all over, when you have to go to school in 5 different school districts by the time you get out of middle school. And when you're raised in the halls of Alcoholics Anonymous and NA, and you get to understand people, you get experience with dysfunction, and you possess a real perspective of what hard times are. You have thick skin, and you learn how to deal with adversity. Emotional intelligence to navigate crazy situation and crazy bosses will serve you well. However, as I sit here today, I don't consider myself a business executive or a corporate leader or anything like that. As I sit here today, I probably most identify myself as being a football coach for Winthrop High School, or the coach of the reigning 5th grade girls champions in the Cape Ann. We went 16-1 last year, so we're very happy about that. I'll never find fulfillment at work. I actually want, do me a favor, for the kids that are here, if I've coached you before, raise your hand. Right? Can you raise them so people can see? Thank you. All right. If I've coached you in 2 sports, raise your hand. If I've coached you in 3 sports, keep your hand raised. Holgi, I got you in baseball. Don't forget, baseball, hockey, and football. Keep your hand up. That's 3. Okay? To try and be the type of man that my father was, to try and show the gratitude for the coaches and teachers who helped me through my hard times into a life of great things and tremendous blessings, I knew I needed to find another way to scratch that itch. So I started coaching 23 years ago, and I haven't stopped. If there's a sport in this town I've probably coached, I know nothing about hockey, but I have coached hockey with Mike Bertino. I don't know what, and when I coach, I see myself in every single kid. I don't know what situation they're coming from. I don't know what situation they're going to. And if I can be there, to be their bumper rails, to keep on the right path, to make good decisions, then that's a gift that I get. I take pride that right now the head football coach of the program that I'm part of says the single most important thing that we do is build young men. If they're a minute late for school, they can't practice, they can't play. Eligibility, you get 1D, you're ineligible. There's a lot of different things, the standard that we have that they have to do. And if you get through that, you get a pretty good chance of getting through some other things. There are 4 or 5 former players of mine that are playing college football right now. Brian Genseso, Pete Jurovich, Rob Noonan, Dan Tomai, and Ryan Harris. I feel pretty good about the type of men that they're going to grow up to be and the impact that they're going to have in this community over the next few decades. Last year we had a player that lost his brother. I had an opportunity to talk to him as he needed about how much his parents needed him and how he could pay tribute to his brother. So in closing, I do have a life full of blessings, but it is absolutely not perfect. I'm sad every day for my dad, for my brother, for my best friend who I lost to addiction. Vinny and I were in a freshman football photo with 5 kids in 1993 who have passed due to drugs and alcohol. However, someone looked at me and said, because the number one question, how are you a community leader and what do you know about health? I was like, I don't know, right? But if someone looks at me and sees me in that light, then I know that I am paying tribute and that I am living life to the fullest in the manner with which I intended when I lost my brother. I'm so grateful to be here today to talk about my journey. And if I was to give advice, it would be this: just work as hard as you can, and be as kind as you can, and great things will happen for you too. So go Vikings! Thank you.
Mark D'Ambrosio. Okay, don't go anywhere. I have to personally give Mark, some comments from my grandson. I have multiple grandsons, but one grandson particularly gave me such a tribute to give to you. He said that the coach was the most inspiring, courageous, motivational, inspirational, wonderful person that he knows. And he also said to me that you're the nicest guy he ever met. Mark D'Ambrosio! Okay, stay right here. Stay right here. Okay. There we go. This is for you. Put wrap that. So you'll have to unwrap it. Okay. We have a plaque for Mark. Okay. And it says, for your unwavering dedication to mentoring, inspiring, and motivating others to reach their fullest potential, your leadership and positive influence have resulted in valuable life lessons of teamwork, perseverance, and self-belief. Thank you for your efforts in shaping future leaders and creating an environment where greatness is within reach for all the Winthrop community. Mark, congratulations.
What a pleasure to meet you, huh?
You too. Okay, Chrissy, would you come up here, honey?
They want you to give a speech too.
Yeah.
Come on.
Where's Chrissy?
She's right back there. She's got the black coat in the back.
Okay, come on, Chrissy.
Vinny.
Vinny, walk her up. Here she comes. Okay.
She's pretty great, right?
She's pretty great.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, behind every great man there's a great woman, right? Right? You can give those to her. Okay, so on behalf of Winthrop Community, Chrissy, it gives us great pleasure to present these flowers in appreciation for your unwavering and prayerful support for all of Mark's endeavors. Round of applause! Congratulations. You guys are adorable.
Thank you.
Yeah, go over there and get a picture now. Go, let Robin take your picture. Hold your plaque up. Okay, wonderful. Winthrop native. I hope all of you young people listened very carefully to Mark's testimony, because, you know, it's only in life that you learn, as Mark said, you know, every lesson in life, every journey, every step that we take, we learn and we grow. And we learn from others, and we learn from people that have gone before us. So I hope all of you guys listened to your coach. Okay, our next keynote speaker is someone I know a lot of you are here to listen to. And we are very happy and proud, and we're very honored, okay, to now bring up, well, actually, Dr. Shah's two sons, Dr. Shah and Dr. Shah, I think, or one Dr. Shah. I don't know how many Dr. Shahs we have in this family, but there's a lot of them. Anyway, Dr. Shah had primary practice in Winthrop, was a surgeon. He's extremely well known and respected in our Winthrop community and surrounding towns. Dr. Shah will be introduced by his son, Dr. Sachin Shah. Dr. Sachin Shah, that's a tongue twister, who is a highly regarded cardiologist at Leahy Hospital and Medical Center. Please give a warm Winthrop welcome to Dr. Sachin Shah. Dr. Shah. Hello. Welcome. 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 Dr. Shah. Over here. There you
Okay.
go.
All right. All right, thank you. We're going to both introduce my dad. We'll keep it quick. So thank you all so much. It's really nice to see so many people here who obviously care about their health and their community, and I'm glad many of you could come and support my dad and care about him as he cares about all of you and this community. Sorry, and this town. He lived here. He go fishing here, his office here, he worked here for over 50 years, and I know he really appreciates it and it means a lot to him, so thank you. Yeah, let me just echo exactly that. We thank you all for coming here, and thank you, Mark, for being so vulnerable and sharing an inspiring story. Dad moved to the U.S. in '72 and started his practice in Winthrop in the mid-'70s. So it's been about 50 years, and I think over probably 100,000 appointments of seeing patients and creating, I think, a legacy of really thoughtful healthcare, and that'll now be carried on by Gene. And equally important, I think, is what this community gave him and our family in terms of, like my brother said, boating in Winthrop Harbor. Like we grew up with a lot of homemade pasta because all of our babysitters and nannies were from Winthrop, East Boston. So we I think just as much as he gave to this community, we got back. And so thank you to all of you, and thank you to Dad. So why don't you come up here, Dad, and give your speech now. And yeah, we're proud of you. Thank you.
Dr. Shah. While Dr. Shah's walking up here, I just have to say a couple of words about you, Dr. Shah. When Dr. Shah first came to Winthrop, and he was at Winthrop Hospital, and a lot of you probably remember that when Dr. Shah came to Winthrop, and he opened his practice. I can remember him being out in the emergency room, Dr. Shah. You're going to remember this. And Dr. Shah was so wonderful. I was teaching at the high school and I taught the medical career program. You remember that? Okay. And so Dr. Shah used to love to have the students because you know what his best desire is? To teach. He loves to teach. So we would have a patient, he would be stitching up a patient, and he's teaching the students and talking to them. He was wonderful. The students, I used to feed the students to him all the time. And they used to go in the operating room with him, and they would watch surgeries, and he would teach them. And then after they would have the patient would have a biopsy, they'd run down and they would do a frozen section. Remember that, Dr. Shah? So my memories of Dr. Shah, back in the 80s, he was such a wonderful colleague for me.
Still is.
And still is. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to give the mic to Dr. Shah. There you go.
Thank you all so much. Most people don't realize at the age of 82, you should never give them any surprise because they can drop dead. And this is coming from a doctor. I tell everybody that except my family. I never said that. I wasn't aware that my two sons and their families are going to be here. I didn't think it was a big event for them to worry about it. I don't know how they found out what they did, but anyway, we're not going to go to the postmortem about that. Now, she just said that I used to love teaching. When I finished my surgery course and became a surgeon in India and came here to learn some more and got qualified and became surgeon again, the second time, because usually once is not enough. And my dream was to be a professor in some teaching hospital and teach the students. I never fulfilled that dream, but I don't regret it, and I'll tell you why. My son was a little off base with the years. I did come to the United States in 1969, and I did come to Winthrop in 1972. That was 52 years ago. I was taking the time off after my final chief residency position. My wife was training for anesthesia in Boston City Hospital, NBU. And I said, I worked hard. I've been a resident in different forms in 2 different countries for 9 years. I deserve the time off. And I enjoyed the time off. 6 weeks later, I went crazy. So I said, okay, these applications to these hospitals like Mass General, Brigham, and all that, take time. So I said, let me do something. And I became a director of the emergency services at Somerville Hospital. From there, I got a call from Anthony Cadamo. He was the administrator of Winthrop Community Hospital. One nurse was supposed to be a nursing director. And between them, they had 1 secretary. Things were very different. Now we have CEOs, presidents, 22 vice presidents, each one with 2 secretaries, and we wonder why the healthcare costs so much. But in any case, I went in, he said, we have no emergency room, we have no outpatient. Can you help us with developing that? And I said, that sounds challenging. Maybe I should, but I said, let me look around and see. So I went down, I went to the so-called emergency room. There was no doctor there, and there was no permanent nurse there. If somebody's brought there, then you have to go looking around to find a nurse and a doctor. And I met 3 very wonderful women. Some of you may know them. They were all 3 nursing supervisors that sat with me to try and convince me that I should be here. One of them was Edie Brenner. Her husband was a police sergeant in Winthrop, Sergeant Brenner. Another one was Harriet Badley, and a third one was Rose Gentili. All 3 of them very, very nice ladies, and they sat down and they told me a story. She said, we are so deprived. The other day we had a patient that came in. We thought he was in an arrest. There was a doctor passing by, and we said, doctor, we have a cardiac arrest patient. And he said, is that one of mine? And we said, we don't know. So I said, I'm late for the office, get somebody else. I started thinking at that time, within 2 miles, as a crow flies, is the world famous Mecca of Medicine, Massachusetts General Hospital. And down the road, we have nothing. And so I accepted the job. I got paid handsomely, $10 an hour. But it was fun. So with the 2 other medical doctors, we started the emergency room and outpatient services. By that time, I met so many nice people from Winthrop. These are all lovely people, friendly people. All of them stayed for generations in Winthrop. Oh yes, sometimes son or daughter will do well and they want to move out. They'll go to Saugus. Then they make babies. Now they want babysitters. They come back to Winthrop. So people who left Winthrop left temporarily. So in any case, that's how my journey in Winthrop started. And just like somebody said, and I was talking to a few people, that they were grateful that I was here, and I told them, nobody stays 52 years if they didn't get something in return. And I got lots of love, a lot of affection. When I came to work, I didn't come to work here. I just came here to socialize. I had families here, and they became my families. There have been some families that I have a parallel relationship with 4 generations. Very hard to find parallel relationships with 4 generations. In any case, finally, you start thinking that you're getting old. Before they push you out or before you lose your brain, get a dementia or something, maybe you should think about retiring, but I couldn't bring myself to do that. And then this lady up here, she comes to the office and said, my daughter needs work and you have to teach her. And she's going to say, okay, all right. And that's how Jill got into my office. She worked with me for 3 years. I found her to be extremely compassionate, knowledgeable, but willing to learn a lot more, spending time with people and patients, and I felt very comfortable that if I did leave now, I don't think I'll be doing a great sin. And I did take the opportunity to finally retire. Am I happy? Yes, part of me is happy. Part of me wakes up in the morning and I see all these faces. Some of them are here, and many of them were here earlier that I met, and it makes you unhappy. But in the end, it's called time of adjustment, and I'll get adjusted. So after this long talk, I'm supposed to tell you something about medicine. Well, nowadays the world is small. You have Dr. Google, you can get anything you want to know from medicine. So I'll tell you something that you may not know. This is not to discourage you. This is not to say bad things about field of medicine or healthcare that we get. These are facts of life, and there are reasons for it. The facts of life are, when we started these medical practices in 70s and 80s, things were getting better and better. People were getting better health care. There were more and more people trying to help them. And then slowly the hospitals became corporations. CEOs came in instead of administrators. Multiple vice presidents, as I said. Then the insurance companies got bigger and bigger. In my early days, I was surprised and shocked that hospital like Winthrop Hospital didn't have to worry about the budget, because Blue Cross, Medicare, and Medicaid made sure that they will pay them 95% of their charges. At the end of the year, if they lost money, the next year they'll increase it by the percentage they lost to make up. However, if they make profit, next year they'll give you less money. So what happens? You want to increase the cost, then you get more money. If you're just going to show profit, you'll stay there. Same thing happened with insurance companies. Insurance companies have to apply to raise the rates. The commission has to decide, or commissioner, how much they can raise. So just pretend that a company raised $100 and they only got 10% up to 12% as profit. If the cost and earnings remains $100, they'll never make more than 10 or 12. And nobody's happy not making more each year. So if they raised it to 200, next year they get 25, 24, 20. If they made it to 2,000, now you can do that figuring. So insurance companies have no incentive whatsoever to cut down the cost of medical care. And this is why right now we reach a situation where co-pays. I was shocked when I started. Bay State started $3 copay. And a patient will come and say, Dottore, I don't have no $3. I bring you tomatoes in summertime. My friend from East Boston. I said, okay, bring me tomatoes. Tomatoes cost 25 cents, but I was happy to get 25 cents for the bag of tomato for $3. But that's okay. That's how it used to be. Not anymore. Now a patient walks in, and it's the last couple of years at least. Copay of $50, copay of $70. Unbelievable. But that part we can't control. Maybe eventually, like a pendulum, it will swing all the way to the extreme and then come back. The most important thing I'm going to leave with you is twofold. Number one, if your family member is in the hospital, please make sure you make volunteer system in your family and be there. And I'll just give you a couple of little points. Nurses used to do 7 hours of patient care, 1 hour of work, which is paperwork. We have a nurse up there, she can tell you in her days. Nurses now do 7 hours of feeding the computer and 1 hour of patient care. So obviously they don't have the time. And they have to do that to keep the job. Aides are not as well trained, they can't see things. Physical therapists, there's shortages. So if a patient had surgery or even sick, but if they can walk, and if you don't ambulate them, they just lay in bed for 3 days, they can get a blood clot and maybe die of an embolism. So you as a family member now has a responsibility, be there, make sure they walked. If they can't walk, push their feet up and down. Let the cough pump going. Don't let them get the clots, because that's a very serious situation. A physical therapist will come, and these are the things that I observe. Patient is sleeping. They'll wake him up. Hey, Mr. So-and-so, you want to go for physical therapy? And the guy says, all right, I'll come back later. Or if he's awake, instead of saying, John, get up. It's time to do the exercise. They would just say, John, you want exercise in physical term? Without waiting more than a few seconds, I'll be back later. That's okay. All right, you rest. Because they've got so many patients, they don't have time anyway. If you're there, you can tell the physician, oh no, yes, John will go there. Or you make him do the physical therapy. I've seen also people come from the cafeteria. Workers are good. They leave the tray, patient is sleeping. Hour and a half later, they come back, they take the tray back. He's still sleeping. Well, nutrition is important too. You have to be there to remind them. This is what happens in third world countries everywhere. When the patient gets admitted, you got to bring food from home. If they need the prescription medication, they will give you a prescription. Your family member has to run to the pharmacy, bring the medicine so they can give it. If you want to change their bed sheets or wash them, you've got to take them home, bring them back. Up here, we don't have to do all that, but at least we can be the reminders and guides. The second thing that I will shortly or briefly say is about, you see all the ads on the TV? Medicare, Part C, every insurance company is out gunning for Medicare Part C. Simple Medicare? No, take Medicare Preferred. Advantages, they give you eyeglasses, they give you free vision tests, they give you hearing aids if you want, little dentist, little bit of gym money. The reason they're doing that is because our government has decided they're going to put fixed amount of money for healthcare. So they, under Medicare Preferred, how it works, government gives a budget, that this is the money you get. Hospitals and doctors or outpatient facilities, everybody has to live in that budget. That budget passes through the insurance company. Insurance company now gives you a contract where if at the end of the budget time, that is a year, if you spend less money and there is a leftover, you as doctors and hospitals can keep it. If you are in a loss, hospitals and doctors, you write a check. But in the middle is the insurance companies. They want their 12%. So when the budget comes out, they take the 12%. So what has happened is, there used to be also what they call a PIP insurance. I was the president of the IPA, which is Independent Physician Association, where we had 3,100 plus Medicare preferred patients. And for almost 10 years that I was in charge, I always bought an insurance from the insurance companies, which is called PIP insurance. We will pay you so much per member per month. It will take away the money from us, but if there's a loss, you are the insurance company, you take it. A few years ago, they stopped doing that. They said, no, we're not going to give the insurance. I object to it not because it's a bad concept. It's a good concept if run properly. I object to it, and I want you to think. It's because everybody is not the same. And when you tell a group of physicians in a hospital that you may lose so much money this year because they get monthly statements, don't you think few of the human beings are going to try and do the things that are not very kosher, that are not supposed to be done? But money corrupts, a lot of money corrupts, absolutely. And those are the facts of life. The second thing on that subject is, ask the agent that wants to give you that insurance. Number one, if you want to travel all over, will I be covered when I'm in Caribbean or if I'm in Canada? Because you don't want to have an insurance and get stuck. Somebody who doesn't have any money and has to buy no payment, which is the biggest pull for that insurance, I can understand that. But you have to know that you're not going to. And select your provider that is not going to be pushed by the PHOs, which is physician hospital organizations, or hospitals that employs them for their benefit to change things so that you don't get expensive CAT scan or MRI until it's too late to get, or that you don't get expensive medication even though they might be better, but get a cheaper one that may not work as well. This never was a problem if the doctor felt this is the best medicine for you, he wrote a prescription, you got it. Under that, it's a problem. So be aware of the pitfalls, select your doctor well, interview him. Go ask him, what would you do in this situation? Get an honest answer and then make a decision. Well, these are the two, I thought, important things that you should know. Other than that, what Mark said, like his life was kind of unfortunate. He went through a lot of hardships and bad things. I've been fortunate. I had a good life when I was growing up. I went to good schools. I came here, I continue to do that. And other than few very minor setbacks, which everybody gets, and I'm glad those were there, because they sort of teach you the way. But other than that, my life has been happy. My life in Winthrop has been happy. I'm grateful to all my patients that I saw today, and so many of them that I see in my awake hours. Fortunately, I don't dream of them, so I can get good sleep. But while I'm awake, I do think of them. I'm also very happy my patient friend who's there for our protection. Officer is going to take care of me, I know, if somebody attacks me. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for being Winthrop. Continue to do the good work. And you, Sandy, continue to do the good work. And thanks to all these exhibitors who really care for the Winthrop community health. In the end, thank you to my family that didn't have to come. Fortunately, I didn't get a heart attack. I did drop dead. But that's no problem. My son is a cardiologist. He'll probably revive me. But sometimes they can't, you know, limits. So, very good. Okay, thanks a lot.
Dr. Shah. Dr. Shah, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Shah. Okay, now we have the pleasure. I would like to invite up here Representative Joe McGonigal. Joe. Round of applause. Here he comes. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. What?
We have more important representatives than Joe McGonigal here.
Oh, look, we're going to have a plethora of it. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, great. Joe, and we've got Jeff, and we've got Bob. Wonderful. Let me take the bag. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. I'm State Rep Joe McGonigal from the great city of Everett. And I know everybody's wondering what I'm doing here. Even Speaker DeLeo, who was my boss for a number of years and put up with me, says, "What are you doing here, Joe McGonigal? Please tell me the hockey team's here and you're not recruiting. So Dale, if you're Coach Dale, I'm not recruiting tonight." But I've been a patient of Dr. Shaw's for 25 years. Great mentor. Always put up with me. Great conversations with him about my health, about my well-being. Again, that close relationship was extremely important. And he retires, and I'll tell you this brief one real quick. He retires, and I meet Jean, and I call her Dr. Jean to me. And I tell her about my close relationship with Dr. Shaw. So she says, "Well, you can open up to me about anything." I go, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, you can up to me about anything." I go, "Like I talked to Dr. Shaw?" She says, "Yeah, try me." I go, "Well, Dr. G, I got a girl. She's 35 years old. I'm 65. She goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah. She's 35 years old." She goes, "Oh my God, that's not good." You know what I mean? I go, "I knew I couldn't talk to you about this." I said, "Would you like to see a picture of her?" She's, "Yeah, I gotta see a picture of her." She's still in shock. She's sitting out there. And it's a German Shepherd. I go, "You jump to conclusions, Doc." You know what I mean? Now the difference, what I want to get at is Dr. Shaw would have given me a handshake, a pat on the back, a hug, and says, "There's medicine today if you need any, Joe." You know what I mean? So that's the difference. But But all joking aside, it is quite an honor to be up here again with Speaker DeLeo, who I have the greatest admiration for him to be here. Yeah, I don't have to explain to you what he's done for the town of Winthrop and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And then to be joined by my other colleague, who's another rising star at the State House, especially for the town of Winthrop, is Representative Turco. For them to be here also to honor Dr. Shaw is a credit to what he's done for your community. So we've got a little presentation. That's enough of my comedy act, all right? And hopefully you can erase parts of this. People are never not going to see this, are they?
All right, Dr. Shaw, this is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to you, Dr. Shaw, in recognition of your 52 years of dedicated service to the Winthrop community. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 13th day of November 2024 at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, by Ronald Mariano, Speaker of the House, second best speaker in the history of the Commonwealth. Robert DeLeo, greatest speaker in the history of the Commonwealth. Joseph McGonigal, and myself, Rep. Jeff Turco. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations, Dr. Shaw. Dr. Shaw, so you stay right here. Did you get pictures of them? Okay, I'm here. Okay. You're next door. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Dr. Shaw, you stay right here. Will. Round of applause for our leaders. Round of applause. Dr. Shaw, stay right here. Stay right here. Will, Dr. Mrs. Shaw, please come up here. Okay. On behalf, yeah, oh, every day, wonderful. Oh, that's my turn today. Okay, it's our turn. Okay, Mrs. Shaw, on behalf of a Winthrop community, of which you have been in some way involved in supporting your husband, in supporting all of his former patients here for what, 50 years, is just wonderful. Round of applause. We would like to present this bouquet of flowers to you in appreciation for your wonderful support of your husband all these years. We love him. We've worked with him, and I've worked with him since the 80s, so I adore him. So we want to thank them. They're wonderful to our community. When you came into this community, you brought so much love and commitment and devotion to our people and our residents. Round of applause. Enjoy your retirement. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. Thank you all. We'll see you next year. Hopefully we'll go back to October next year. Thank you. Good night. Good night.